I think the way forward for those of us who support traditional marriage is we just need to up our game. We have rested too long thinking that what we believe and what we think will be accepted without question, because obviously from where we're coming from, it makes so much sense. But it's time to really equip yourself. And it's time to really engage those who disagree with incredible love and compassion. You just have to do both. You can't just hold on to truth and alienate people. You can't just bring people in and forsake the truth. Because the people in your life matter greatly. But so do the children of this nation, for whom their mother and father is no substitute. There is no substitute for that micro unit of society that has to be strengthened. For so long, we have told kids that they need to sacrifice, they need to adjust, they need to accommodate, they need to be understanding. And that's actually what adults are supposed to do. They're supposed to die to themselves, sacrifice, accommodate, make sacrifices for the sake of others. We're just talking about stacking the deck in the favor of children. And that when you have mom and dad raising their children together in a healthy marriage, you have just given kids the best setup they have for success. And when you're looking at kids that don't have that, they are not doomed, right? The deck is more stacked against them. They just have so much more to overcome. And so we've got to do what we can to make sure that they have every advantage, every emotional advantage, every physical advantage, every social advantage. And statistically, that means mom and dad together, raising them from birth to adulthood. But that means that all of us have to change. That means that all of us have to do the hard work. That means that we have to control ourselves so that we're not having sex unless we're ready to parent. That means that if we are in a loving, stable, heterosexual marriage, are we willing to go get a child that needs parents? Are we willing to go across the ocean or go down to the county office and look into foster care? It means that when there is an unexpected pregnancy or the pregnancy of a child who has some blemishes, are we willing to cherish and protect that life anyway? That means that when you're in a really hard marriage, are you willing to do the work to go get counseling so your kids don't have to suffer because you can't make the marriage work? That's what I want. I want to get back to the place in this country where we're telling adults to do hard things so kids don't have to do hard things.
A lot of marriage and a lot of family life might seem boring because what are you doing? You have to provide for your family. You have to make sure they have food to eat. So you have to go shopping and you have to work so you can pay those bills. And of course, you have to take the kids to different programs, different activities, and you want them to grow up and have had lots of cultivating types of experiences. But in all of that normal, ordinary living is something very extraordinary. As children and parents, you are bonded to one another. Husband and wife are bonded to one another. And that's incredible. And you want to take that bond, a very strong bond of love and stability, and make sure your children can carry that into their life when they grow up.
I see myself as sort of going out there and saying to kids when they come out, which they will, and say, why didn't anybody say anything? Why didn't anyone use any common sense? Why did you think this would work? And I'm just there to say, not everybody did. Not everybody did. There was a group of us, and we came forward at great personal risk and great personal sacrifice, and we said, we know.
I guess I just want justice. I want our country to find a sense of putting others before themselves. I want people to move beyond selfishness. I want people to stop rationalizing hurting other people with all of the games that they play in their head, that somehow they were born a certain way, so they have to do this to other people, or I've fallen out of love, so I have to get divorced, or all these things that people do. whatever we can do, whatever small steps we can take to rolling that back. I know it's almost impossible, but I hope that there's some way.
The action that needs to take place is strengthening our own marriage and strengthening the marriages around us, and continuing in every venue that we can find to get the message out that regardless of what the law of the land says, there is a biological reality. There is a sociological reality that kids need and long for and do best when they're raised by their mom and dad.